Gather round the fire, everyone. The embers are glowing, the woods are dark, and the only sound is the crackle of the flames and the whisper of the wind through the trees. It's the perfect setting for a story, don't you think? But tonight, we're not talking about make-believe monsters. We're sharing stories that people swear are true. Stories that happen to a friend of a friend in places not so different from this one. Our first story comes from a park ranger named Alex, who worked deep in the Appalachian Mountains. One night, while on a routine patrol, his radio started crackling with static. Not unusual, but then a voice came through, faint and panicked. It was a hiker, lost off the main trail. Alex got his coordinates and headed out. The woods were unnervingly quiet, no crickets, no rustling leaves. He called out the hiker's name, David, but only his own echo answered. After an hour of searching the rugged terrain, he found the hiker's backpack, torn open, contents scattered. But David was nowhere to be found. Just as Alex was about to radio for a full search and rescue team, he heard a sound from the trees above. It wasn't an animal. It was a perfect mimicry of his own voice, calling out, David. He froze, every instinct screaming at him. The voice called again, a flawless copy. Alex never saw what made the sound, and the hiker, David, was never seen again. To this day, other rangers report hearing their own voices echoing back at them in that same stretch of woods. Next, let's head to the coast. This one comes from a group of friends who went camping on a secluded beach in Oregon. It was a beautiful night. The stars were brilliant, and the sound of the waves was hypnotic. Around midnight, one of them, Sarah, noticed something odd. Far out on the water, there were lights. Not from a boat, but bobbing just above the surface, like lanterns. They were mesmerized, watching as the lights slowly drifted closer to shore. As they got nearer, the friends could see they weren't lanterns. They were glowing orbs, pulsating with a soft, eerie light. They weren't making a sound, just floating silently towards them. A cold dread washed over the group, far colder than the ocean breeze. They packed up their gear in a panic, throwing everything into their car. As they drove away, they looked back. The orbs had reached the shoreline and were hovering exactly where their campsite had been, casting a strange, silent glow on the empty sand. They never went back to find out what those lights wanted. Our last story is a classic, a tale whispered from one camper to another for generations. It's about a couple, Mark and Jenny, who decided to go camping in a national forest known for its deep, ancient woods. They set up their tent in a small clearing and settled in for the night. A few hours after falling asleep, Jenny was woken up by a strange noise. It was a slow, rhythmic scratching sound on the outside of the tent. Asterisk scry-ape, scry-ape. Asterisk Mark was a heavy sleeper, so she tried to ignore it, telling herself it was just a branch, but the sound grew more deliberate, more insistent. It moved from one side of the tent to the other, circling them. Terror kept her pinned to her sleeping bag. She lay there, wide-eyed in the dark, for what felt like hours, listening to the relentless scraping. Finally, just before dawn, it stopped. She waited until the sun was fully up before waking Mark. When they unzipped the tent, they found long, deep scratch marks carved into the fabric all the way around, about 3 feet off the ground. But what was truly chilling were the footprints. They weren't animal tracks. They were bare human footprints, leading out of the dense woods, circling their tent countless times, and then leading back into the forest, disappearing into the shadows. They left everything behind and ran. The fire is getting low, and the shadows are growing longer. These stories remind us that sometimes the most unsettling things aren't monsters from movies, but the unexplained events that happen in the quiet, dark places of our world. What was that sound? Just the wind, I'm sure. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed these true tales from the campfire, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.